What I am tracking right now is a major shift in the weather pattern across the United States that is going to bring not one but two significant winter storm systems, a potential bomb cyclone nor'easter along the East Coast this weekend, and a surge of Arctic air that is going to send temperatures plummeting across large portions of the country over the next 7 to 10 days. This is a pattern-level change, and the implications are going to be felt across multiple regions simultaneously. The first winter storm is already underway across the Midwest, and it is performing above what the models were showing just 24 hours ago. The second system is going to develop later this week and could bring another round of heavy snow to portions of the central United States. Beyond that, the potential exists for a powerful nor'easter to rapidly intensify off the coast of North Carolina this weekend and bring significant snowfall, damaging winds, and blizzard conditions to portions of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. The uncertainty in that particular forecast is still high, and I am going to walk through the range of possible outcomes in detail. Behind all of this, Arctic air is going to flood into the central and eastern United States, and we are going to see a roller coaster temperature pattern over the next 2 weeks with multiple surges of cold air, brief warm-ups, and the potential for additional winter weather events. The first winter storm that I want to address is the system that is currently moving through the Midwest. And I need to emphasize that this storm is overperforming relative to what the forecast models were showing yesterday. Snow has been falling across Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, and portions of Michigan since early this morning, and snowfall rates in some areas have been higher than expected, particularly across central and eastern Iowa and southern Wisconsin. We are seeing snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour in the heaviest bands, and those rates are going to continue through the afternoon and into tonight before the system finally begins to pull away. Total accumulations from this first storm are now looking like they are going to be in the range of 6 to 10 inches across the core impact zone, with some locations potentially seeing 12 inches or more, where the heaviest banding has set up and remained quasi-stationary for several hours. Cities like Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, Madison, and Green Bay are all seeing significant snow accumulation, and travel across this region is extremely hazardous at this hour. I-80 across Iowa, I-35 from Des Moines north into Minnesota, and I-90 across southern Wisconsin are all reporting very difficult to near impassable conditions, and that is going to continue through tonight. The combination of heavy snow and wind is creating blowing and drifting snow, which is reducing visibility to near zero in the heaviest bands. At the same time that the winter storm is impacting the Midwest, the southern and eastern portions of the same storm system are producing severe weather across the Ohio Valley, and that severe weather threat has materialized exactly as the forecast models were indicating. Strong to severe thunderstorms have developed across portions of Kentucky, southern Indiana, and southern Ohio, and there have been multiple reports of tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail. The environment across the Ohio Valley this afternoon has been highly favorable for supercell development, with strong wind shear, high instability, and abundant Gulf moisture all present simultaneously. Tornado warnings have been issued for multiple counties across the region, and the threat is going to continue through the evening hours before finally diminishing as the storm system pulls away. Looking ahead to the weekend, the forecast becomes significantly more complex and significantly more uncertain. What we are watching is the potential for a coastal low-pressure system to develop off the coast of North Carolina late Saturday or early Sunday. And depending on a number of factors that are still being resolved in the model guidance, that coastal low could either remain weak and move out to sea with minimal impact, or it could undergo rapid intensification and become what meteorologists call a bomb cyclone. A bomb cyclone is defined as a low-pressure system that deepens by at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. And when that kind of rapid intensification occurs along the East Coast during the winter, it typically produces very heavy snowfall, very strong winds, and in some cases, blizzard conditions. Right now, the model guidance is split on how this is going to play out, and that split is significant enough that I cannot give you a single high-confidence forecast for what is going to happen this weekend. What I can do is walk through the range of scenarios and tell you what each scenario would mean for different parts of the East Coast. The most aggressive scenario, which is being shown by the GFS model and some of its ensemble members, depicts a situation where the coastal low does undergo bombogenesis and rapidly intensifies as it moves north-northeast along the coast. In this scenario, we would be looking at widespread heavy snow across portions of Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and southern New England, with snowfall totals potentially reaching 1 to 2 feet in the heaviest bands. The GFS is also showing the potential for very strong winds with this scenario, with gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour along the coast and potentially even higher gusts in some exposed locations. If wind gusts of that magnitude were to occur in combination with heavy snowfall, we would be looking at blizzard conditions across portions of the mid-Atlantic and southern New England, with near-zero visibility, significant drifting, and widespread power outages. This is the high-impact, high-consequence scenario. The more moderate scenario, which is closer to what the ensemble mean is showing, depicts a coastal low that does develop and does bring snow to portions of the East Coast, but the intensification is not as rapid and the snowfall totals are not as extreme. In this scenario, we would be looking at more widespread 4 to 8 inches of snow across the mid-Atlantic, with localized amounts of 10 to 12 inches in favored locations, and winds that are strong but not at blizzard criteria. This would still be a significant winter weather event and would still create travel disruptions and localized power outages. The weaker scenario, which is being shown by the European model and some of its ensemble members, depicts a situation where the coastal low either does not develop at all or develops very weakly and quickly moves out to sea without bringing significant precipitation to the coast. In this scenario, the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast would see only light snow or a mix of rain and snow, with minimal accumulation and minimal impact. So which scenario is most likely? At this point, I would say that the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. The pattern does support the development of a coastal low, and the atmospheric ingredients are there for that low to intensify. However, the exact track and the exact timing are still being resolved, and small changes in either of those variables can have a very large impact on the final outcome. What I am watching most closely over the next 24 hours is the position of the upper-level energy that is going to be moving into the East Coast late this week, and how that energy interacts with the surface features. If the upper-level energy phases correctly with the surface low, we get the more aggressive scenario. If the phasing is poor, or if the timing is off, we get the weaker scenario. I will have a much better handle on this by tomorrow morning. One element of the weekend forecast that I do have higher confidence in is the wind. Regardless of whether the coastal low undergoes full bombogenesis or not, the pressure gradient that is going to be in place along the East Coast this weekend is going to be tight, and that is going to produce strong winds. I am expecting wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour along the immediate coast from the Carolinas north through New England, with the potential for gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour or higher in some exposed coastal locations. Those kinds of wind speeds are approaching hurricane force, and even without significant snowfall, winds of that magnitude can cause damage, bring down trees and power lines, and create hazardous conditions. If we do end up getting significant snowfall on top of those winds, the blizzard potential becomes very real. In addition to the nor'easter potential, there is also a severe weather component to the weekend forecast. As the coastal low develops and pulls away, the warm sector ahead of the system is going to be draped across portions of the southeast, and that is going to support the development of strong to severe thunderstorms across portions of Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. The timing of this severe weather threat is going to be Saturday afternoon through Saturday night, and the primary hazards are going to be damaging straight-line winds and isolated tornadoes. The shear environment is going to be favorable for rotating storms, and any supercells that develop will have the potential to produce tornadoes. Looking beyond the weekend, the pattern is going to remain active, and there are multiple systems that are going to be moving through different parts of the country over the course of next week. An Alberta clipper is going to drop down from Canada early next week and bring another round of light to moderate snow to portions of the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. This is not going to be a major snow producer, but it is going to reinforce the cold air and bring another 2 to 4 inches of accumulation to areas that have already seen significant snow. At the same time, an atmospheric river is going to be setting up across the Pacific Northwest, bringing very heavy rainfall to portions of Washington and Oregon, with rainfall totals potentially exceeding 5 to 8 inches in some locations over a multi-day period. That kind of rainfall is going to create significant flooding concerns. The temperature pattern over the next 2 weeks is going to be highly volatile. Arctic air is going to surge into the central and eastern United States this weekend, driving temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below normal for late February. That cold air is going to moderate briefly early next week as a warmer air mass moves in from the south, but then another surge of Arctic air is going to drop down later next week and reinforce the cold pattern. We are going to see multiple cycles of this over the next 2 weeks, with brief warm-ups followed by sharp drops back into well below normal temperatures. This kind of temperature volatility is typical of the transition period between winter and spring, and it is a reminder that even though we are approaching the end of February, winter is far from over. To consolidate the regional timing and impacts, here is what you need to know. Today through tonight, heavy snow continues across Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Michigan, with severe weather ongoing across the Ohio Valley. Tomorrow through Friday, attention shifts to the potential coastal development along the East Coast, with model guidance continuing to be monitored closely. Saturday through Sunday, the nor'easter potential comes into focus, with the possibility of significant snow, strong winds, and blizzard conditions across portions of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, and severe weather across portions of the Southeast. Early next week, an Alberta clipper brings additional light snow to the upper Midwest, and Arctic air surges across the eastern United States. The remainder of next week, the pattern remains active with additional systems and additional temperature swings. This is a complex and evolving forecast, and I will continue to provide updates as new information becomes available. Make sure you are staying informed, monitoring local forecasts, and have emergency supplies in place if you are in any of the potential impact zones. Thank you for following this coverage.